Hi, good evening, and welcome to day 29. So, if you remember yesterday, in the tower defense game, our goal was I just wanted to implement a couple additional features, and so drag and drop was introduced. Also, added a way to visibly see attack range on your tower, both when you're dragging and dropping and when you actually have the unit dropped. So at the end of the day, there was some bugs that I needed to squash, and the bugs they were little bugs. They looked like today it did get me investigating a bit on one of them, and I'll talk about that. So let's go ahead and start. Let's start the game, and we'll talk about the bugs in the areas where they've actually been resolved. So, the first bug that I actually ran into was when I drop a unit, the unit itself has a radius. Now, when I drop a second unit, what was happening was that first unit radius was being overwritten. So I wasn't sure why the first unit was getting the next unit, or even just if I was to place another unit down, all of them would get that same range. So I got to I got to looking at it a little bit, and I started thinking about the reused scene. So the reused scene under the covers is also reusing the same shape. Now, in Godot, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Godot real quick. There's my mouse. In Godot, oh my lord. All right. When we do a remote and we look at main and we look at the tower container, inside of here, if I click on the tower, enemy zone, this shape right here was actually looking like it was referencing somewhere else in memory. And when I looked at a different compared to a different tower, so it would say shape yada yada, and it pointed to something, and then it said like an exact location, and then it was like an ampersand and numbers. So it made me think it was a copy of something similar to what the actual scenes do. But what it was doing was it was a different name for the same exact object. So when you change the radius of one, you change the radius for all of them. So that caused a little bit of complication because I wanted to not only set the initial range, but when we do upgrades, I wanted those to be set as well. So we had a problem. So my short range towers, if the very first one I threw down was a short range tower, and then I threw a long range, everything became long range. If it was a long range and then a short range, everything became short range. So you see the problem. So I resolved that by taking the collision shape off. And then when we instantiate the tower, I just create a new shape each time. There are not enough towers being created that I feel it's going to cause an issue. Now, if you disagree, that's okay. And I'd like to know why. I'd like to understand a little bit more, other than if I was to pull the tower local up. Other than this little node configuration warning, I don't see any problem. Now, I could throw a shape on here, which is just the default shape, just so we get something. And that'll provide us with a visual when we're working on one of our test scenes. But I could also see it when I just run the game and it creates the shape. So again, help me understand that one a little bit more. All right. So the other things, let's take a look at that. Of course, we have our remote up, so it's going to show that. The other thing that was popping up was, and now I threw 3 on here. I was actually playing around with a grid layout instead of a grid container instead of a flow container. I think it's going to work well for this. I have everything set on a panel, and I don't have a control on top of it. So The shop does need to be manually set when it comes to size. So I'm working through that a little bit right now. But anyways, when I go to throw down our basic boy is with the basic boy sprite and data. That's cool. But yesterday, our fast boy wasn't getting the same treatment. Fast boy was actually showing with the basic boy everything. So it just didn't feel right. It felt incomplete. Let me see if there was really anything else. A lot of the time spent today was trying to debug the issue with the range and why that shape was not working. So looks like that's it. So for tomorrow, the things that I'm going to be working on are a little bit more of the animation. I want to make this come a little bit alive. So I want to do something with the base, and I want to do something when we actually hit the enemy. You can see that I put a little bit of and we have a little bit of animation when someone gets hit. But what does that actually mean? Who actually got hit? Like, what if they're bunched up? It'd be nice to be able to see a little more. So thinking about making them flash red, flash something when they get hit, just so you can know, hey, I just took damage. Or maybe putting health bars on top. I think that'd be pretty cool too. So anyways, it feels like a quick video. We're under 10 minutes. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, give me all the feedback that you can. I'm absolutely loving it. It's helping make this game even better. So thank you very much.